I wanted to earn money because I came from a family that didn't earn much.
And some days I'm barely surviving. So it's a mix of both. So how do you really navigate that through the advice that you want to give?
We need to look at what are the thoughts. What are the thoughts and the beliefs? What are the feelings and the emotions? And then therefore, how are you showing up, acting, behaving, deciding?
What has been the golden thread tying all these journeys together?
My satisfaction and joy for actually helping people. Now, as cheesy as that sounds, you couldn't grow your business unless you grew and helped other people.
Welcome, dear listeners, to Beautiful Chords Show. I'm your host, Himani, and I'm thrilled to have you join us on this inspiring adventure. I'm excited to welcome someone whose journey is nothing short of inspiring. She's a multi-passionate entrepreneur and a coach who has spent over 25 years building businesses across 8 countries and reinventing herself across industries, from IT to property investment, health and wellness, and even dancing on the world salsa stage. Award-winning mentor and founder of Make Shift Happen, she empowers women to move past overwhelm and unlock clarity, confidence, and growth. Through her unique blend of coaching, mindset work, and healing modalities, from neuro-linguistic program and emotional freedom therapy to body talk healing, she empowers women to rediscover their confidence, clarity, and joy, both in business and in life. Get ready to hear her wisdom on resilience, mentorship, and what it really takes to break free from the beliefs holding us back. Please join me in giving a warm welcome to the incredible Jen Gautier. When I was making this transition from an audio podcast to a full video setup, I knew nobody better than you who could help me launch this new chapter in my life. It feels so special that you're my very first guest, and I couldn't have asked for a better and an inspiring start to this. So, genuinely, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for being there. Thank you for saying yes and making this milestone so meaningful.
Thank you for having me. It's a privilege to be here, and what an amazing setup. So thank you very much for asking me.
Should we get to the questions now?
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Yeah. You have worn so many hats. IT professional, property investor, health and wellness business owner. I need to read this because there are so many technical terms in your bio. A mortgage advisor and now a coach. Looking back, what has been the golden thread tying all these journeys together?
Oh, the golden thread. There are probably 2 golden threads. I think, as with a lot of people, the first golden thread was I wanted to earn money because I came from a family that didn't earn much. And so my driver at the start was, how do I earn an income so that my future family and children don't experience the lack that my family and my siblings experienced. But over the last 25, 30 years that I've been working, the other golden thread was my satisfaction and joy for actually helping people. Now, as cheesy as that sounds, the first business that I started after I left the IT industry was in a network marketing company. And in that business, you couldn't grow your business unless you grew and helped other people.
Wow.
So that's when I first experienced what it was like to help people get from where they were to where they wanted to be. And being part of that growth it just gave me so much satisfaction.
Wonderful. So basically you're passionate about seeing other people grow.
Yeah, and so with that business, that was very much about helping people leave their jobs, get healthy, etc. And as I moved through property investing, property coaching, property finance, property construction, that was around helping people achieve that dream of owning a home.
Wow.
Whether that was a first home buyer or whether it was investors trying to learn the ropes of getting onto the property ladder.
Where were you all this while before? Why did we connect only back in 2023?
It was meant to be now.
Yes, we saved our conversation for the couch, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
Great. Yeah, that's a perfect start to this. Yeah. this is the question which I really feel we really need to talk about, because I've been holding on to such things that as a mindset and an emotional freedom coach, how does our thinking patterns and feelings each day have an impact on our focus, drive, managing tasks, and productivity?
It has a huge impact because our thoughts, our feelings, and our decisions basically make up our personality. And as Dr. Joe Dispenza says, our personalities make up our personal realities. So our life that we see is a reflection of what's happening inside. So to make it make sense, think of a three-sided triangle. I guess there's no other sided triangle.
Better way to explain it, yeah.
To explain it better.
Yeah, sure.
If you think of a triangle that has thoughts and beliefs on one side, then you've got feelings and emotions on another side, and then you've got actions and behaviours on the other side. So if you have got someone who is thinking and believing that they're not good enough, how is that going to have them feel? They'll feel sad, a little bit anxious, maybe discouraged, deflated. And so how do they then behave? Is perhaps their decisions and actions will reflect how they're feeling and thinking, which will be perhaps they don't post on social media, or they don't apply for a job that they think, that they would like to have because they don't feel good enough. So in order to, on a daily basis, feel more productive and be more focused and have more drive, we need to look at what are the thoughts. What are the thoughts and the beliefs? What are the feelings and the emotions? And then therefore, how are you showing up, acting, behaving, deciding?
Now, let me bring this in context to my life over here, because I'm sure many other mothers can also relate to this. I'm sure there'll be so many other women out there who are juggling work, managing self-doubt, balancing their parental duties, also tantrums of the kids and everything. So I feel like with so much already going on in the life, our external pressure can so much influence our internal calm that we've been carrying, but it doesn't work like that. So how do you navigate that external pressure with the deadlines, with the parental duties, sometimes duties of a daughter, duties of a daughter-in-law, or even with the aging parents? How do you really navigate that through the advice that you want to give?
So having all of those hats that we wear, and that's what I find with a lot of my clients, they are mums, they are wives or partners. Where the partners
Solopreneurs
need...
as well, and mompreneurs as well.
Yes, yeah. And so there's a lot of hats that they have to wear, and the pressure that we put on ourselves, the pressure that social media has on us.
Which just amplifies the entire pressure.
It does. And the way in which you can perhaps look at life is, you may not like the answer to this, but...
Go for it.
I call it RAR, R-A-R. So the first part is to take full responsibility for our life. So at some point we chose to be a mother, or we chose to have that partner, or we chose to be in this job, or we chose to leave that job, or we chose to leave that partner. So there is a sense of taking responsibility that gets us out of the victimhood of, why is my life like this? Because to some extent... as women, we chose the partner, the children, the job.
Yeah.
The second part of the A, which is A, is abracadabra. So it's an Aramaic term for, as I speak, so I create.
Yeah.
So the words in which we're using, even in that inner dialogue, may need the third R, which is reframing. So if we're speaking in our minds, thoughts, beliefs, which therefore create feelings that have us being all over the place because we're not taking responsibility, we're choosing to be in a bit of victimhood, then the reframe, the third R, or the third part of that acronym, is about thinking, okay, well, what if you say, instead of, I have to do this, I get to do this. So with a job, did you choose that job? And did you choose it just because of the money? So taking responsibility for that versus, okay, I'm not enjoying what I'm doing. I'm going to start that side hustle that I've always wanted to create. And so you can take responsibility and make different decisions. But it's very difficult to make new decisions based on a self-judging victim state, if that makes sense.
For sure it does.
Yeah.
And not just to me, also to the audience who are watching us. Some days in my journey, I feel I'm absolutely thriving. I feel everything is right in place. And some days I'm barely surviving. So it's a mix of both. Also, with the productivity, I now feel that it's not really about the time management. It's more about the emotional management and your energy management with the kids.
Absolutely, yeah. There are tools that perhaps we haven't been shown.
Yeah.
You know, we've been told to go to school, get a job,
Exactly.
get married, get the house, and then suddenly you're like, I can't cope.
Yeah, truly. And it happens, not just with you or with me, but with many other people as well. From salsa dancing on the world stage to building thriving businesses, you've had such a unique journey. How did these very different experiences shape the way you approach things in life now?
Well, definitely confidence was not something that I had.
Yes. And it is not something that was taught from the childhood, from the
Exactly.
school.
Definitely not school.
It's a long way to learn the confidence and grow with it.
It's a muscle that has to be built
Yes.
with courage and competency. And the more courage that you have to try something,
Yep.
the more competency and the more competent you feel, therefore the more confident you are. But growing up, I was teased at primary school for being Chinese.
Same, like not for the ethnicity, but for being short-heighted.
Yeah, and so that stays with us to some extent, right? Those
Till date.
words.
Till date.
Yeah. So I was teased for being Chinese. I had eczema all over my face, so children thought that they could catch some disease from me. I was teased for having like big buck teeth. I even got a perm at one stage, which was horrific, so it probably didn't help. But that confidence back then, it was almost non-existent. And so as I learned to do the things that I actually enjoyed, I learnt those, I became more competent, and therefore that gave me the confidence. And so with business, when I've pivoted in business,
Yeah.
it hasn't necessarily been from a failure or from lack of success necessarily, but it has been from feeling as though the business or the career that I was in, it might have been nice because it was pocket filling, made me good money, but it wasn't soul fulfilling.
Yeah.
And so I felt quite empty. And so having the courage to pivot when even though it was making good money, it wasn't making me happy, you know, that took a lot of courage to then start something new and have the confidence in myself that this was the right path. And so we only learn to have that confidence by learning to grow that courage and competence muscle.
My goodness. I think somewhere on the lines of you're making good money, if it is paying all your bills and you're living a very satisfied life, but still, if you're not feeling that soul satisfying experience from within, it takes a lot of hard work to stop that and move out of it and nurture that part of your dream, that passion that you've always been wanting to follow. So
Yes.
absolutely congratulations on doing that. It's hard. Like it takes a lot of guts to move forward.
It does take a lot of guts. And it also, there's that saying that I've seen around the internet, and it says, choose your hard.
Yes.
And so I remember when I was in the mortgage advising industry, such good money. I loved helping the people, but the banks kept changing
Yes.
the bank policies. So one minute they could borrow X amount to buy a house. The next week, I'm so sorry, but it's $50,000 less. So their hearts would break. But then it got to a point that I just ended up serving my clients and being there for them, helping them to the point where through COVID, when, you know, that whole mortgage and interest rate situation
Exactly.
and the uncertainty
Yeah.
was so great that I was working 12-hour days and I was over-giving, over-delivering. I was single at the time. And in that moment of 3 years of just overworking, over-delivering, there came a point when I blacked out.
Yeah.
So I didn't even realize I was burnt out because my first symptom was walking down my hallway one morning after sending a text message and having a coffee.
Yeah.
And as I walked down the hallway, I blacked out. And the next thing I knew, I woke up on the floor. My face was sore and I actually thought I'd been hit from behind.
And for how long was that? Like, for how long did you black out?
Good question. So I got up, I was very dizzy, and I could see my coffee in my phone. And I'd sent that text message just before I walked down the hallway, right? And that's when I saw that I'd been knocked out for 10 minutes.
So, well, let's say the coffee was still hot.
Yeah, well, semi-hot, it was warm, but that told me right at that moment that even though I was making good money in that industry, it's not worth your health to have my nervous system just completely shut down mid-walk. So I'm so lucky that I wasn't walking through the streets or crossing the road and then just blacking out.
Yes. I'm glad you came out of that situation. Yeah.
Yeah, I am too.
You have been recognized as Mentor of the Year and received the Impact Award for your work, which She Mentors. What does mentorship mean to you personally? And why do you think it is so important for women in business today?
Mentorship for me means giving women a space to be seen, held, and heard.
Heard, yeah.
So as we were just saying about the different hats that women wear,
Yes.
there is a concept called the paradox of successful women by Dr. Claire Zammit. She does women-centered coaching, of which I've been trained through, and she says that most women look confident, competent, certified, qualified, and happy.
But only for the outside
From the outside,
world.
exactly.
Yeah. But from the inner side, that actually is burning deep down inside.
Yeah, the burning deep down inside that they don't want their clients or their friends or social media to see. They're feeling a little bit angsty. They're frustrated that they're not further ahead in life.
Yeah.
They're feeling discouraged. They're seeing other people excel and, make it in life. And they feel self-doubt, imposter syndrome, lack of confidence. So what I love doing is giving women the space to just vent to me. It's almost like this safe container that when they first come on to the call with me on Zoom, they just vent everything that's going on for them.
Which is so important. The moment you start venting and the time that you're finished venting, you feel such a powerful difference in your own self. It's just that the person hearing you doesn't have to give you any sort of a judgments after that. And just venting everything out makes you a lot more peaceful and lighter.
Yes, they're usually crying within the first 5 minutes. And I've said this before, where I wish I could take a photo of women joining the Zoom call, looking a little bit like stressed and overwhelmed, to the end at the end of the session, they just look lighter, like something has been released, liberated.
Yeah. So do you think having a Zoom conversation makes a lot of difference, or going to see your clients in person makes a difference? Because on a Zoom conversation, you can cry, you can vent, but you can do that howsoever you want. But having somebody right next to you, looking in their eyes and having those gestures and then venting out, because at that stage you can even end up giving a hug to them, and the warmer the hug, the more better it makes you feel.
Absolutely. And I think as a coach, there's a line between because I'm empathic, I just want to go, oh my God, I'm so sorry.
Being a coach and a friend is two different things.
Right? And so what I like about Zoom is that they can be in their own space. They can cry.
A
they can be
spot
comfortable.
for them.
Yeah. And they don't have a stranger in their home.
Yeah.
And it gives that separation for me to just sit and hold space for them.
Yes, that's beautiful. To me, personally, mentorship is not about titles. It's more about creating an impact. No matter whoever you are, whatsoever position you hold, unless you haven't set an impact for yourself and the people who you serve with, it doesn't make any difference. And honestly, women at work are juggling so much. Parental duties, work-life balance, the deadline pressure, and so much going on already. So, yeah. But yes, congratulations on being a Mentor of the Year for 2024. It was like you just joined that in 2023. And I think you and I met together on that one community event wherein it was both of our first time attending it, right? And I saw you. You were looking super duper sexy. You were holding like what, a wine glass or a water glass? What were you holding?
Would have been water.
It could be. No extra calories, please. We can see that. And you were looking so beautiful, and you ensured that whosoever came to you to talk to you, you made everyone feel so comfortable.
Oh,
like that
good notice.
that was your powerful message, which I carried on for the next 2 years, that you made everyone so comfortable, whosoever came to see you. And well, actually, there were 2 people who were standing with me that time in that group chat. They were like, oh, now we need to see Jen as well. I'm like, oh, wow, that's great. And I was like, hey, Jen, where is she?
Yes,
So-
I remember a time when someone said that you just never know what you can learn from somebody else,
Yeah.
no matter what they look like, right? And so even if I have a homeless person coming up and asking for money, I will ask them, what do you think you'll do with money? Or, what's your story?
Yes.
And sometimes it surprises them because most people don't give them that time of day. But I have learnt so much from so many different homeless people what their story was, and just giving them a chance. Again, it's to be seen and
speak,
held
yeah.
and heard,
Yeah.
metaphorically. I don't
Yeah.
give them any hugs,
Yeah.
but it's that space where people can go, wow, someone sees me as a human, not just
I
someone
got
on the
it,
street.
yeah. I remember this instance. This was back in 2019. I was standing at the train station waiting for my train to come. There was this old man. He was barely walking. He could not walk much, but he came wobbling towards me and he wanted to speak about how his day has been. And me, I was getting late to go back home. I did not have a lot of time to spend with him, but I knew and I could sense that he's somebody who wants to share his experience of the day or of the week, and he just wants somebody to listen to it. Whereas I was getting late and I only had that 2-3 minutes when the train was about to arrive to listen to his all of his day that has been. So I get to the point. I understand when you're saying that just by hearing those people makes a lot of difference.
It's that true presence.
Yes.
That,
That
someone's
eye
listening.
contact. Because I'm sure pretty much he was living in the old age home, but he really needed somebody to talk about how his day was and how was he just doing otherwise. Here's my favorite thing now, that you have been trained in so many modalities, from neuro-linguistic practice and emotional freedom therapy to body talk healing. With such a wide range of tools, how do you know which approach to use for each client? Like, do you intuitively draw, oh, this will work for this A person, this will work for B person? How do you set this thing for them?
Yes, so first of all, it takes that first 5 to 10 minutes of active listening, listening deeply.
Yeah.
I listen to the words that they're using. That's that abracadabra, the words that they're saying out loud. I listen and watch their body language.
Yes.
And then to some extent, I can actually feel inside from me, I can feel what they're feeling.
The energies that speak to you.
Exactly. So going back to that triangular framework, I'm looking or listening for what are their thoughts and beliefs that they're saying about themselves. Like, what are you saying to yourself about yourself when you were by yourself? And so they
Yes.
get to express that. Then the second part is they voice what they're feeling. And I hear all the emotions and I hear their feelings. And then from there, depending on what they're saying, I hear what actions or behaviors that they've been doing. So as soon as I hear any part of those three, I can determine which of the modalities to pull from, because, to be honest, when I first started my business, I started my business purely because I wanted to help women in business and corporate.
Yeah.
But the 25 years before that, when I was learning these modalities, they weren't to become an NLP practitioner or hypnotherapist or a full-time body talk practitioner or a full-time EFT practitioner.
Yes.
I was learning each of those separately because I was craving personally to shift my inner self-doubt, which had stemmed from, being teased at school.
All
and
the time,
All
yeah.
of those things.
We've been taught about all these things in childhood only. Yeah.
Yes, so
Yeah.
I was looking to have my own breakthroughs through
Yeah.
doing these courses, but I always noticed that each modality, I liked it, but there was always something missing. So if it was an NLP, for instance, I felt that there was a lack of processing the emotions. But when I was doing the emotional freedom therapy, I felt that it was sort of lacking in other areas. And then when I had done traditional coaching methods,
Yeah.
again, it was missing some of the emotional aspect. So when I'm listening to my clients, I'm hearing what they're saying. I can resonate most often because it feels like, to some extent, I've been through, maybe a different context, but been through those feelings and being stuck in the trenches. So I was pulling tools that have helped me get out of a funk.
So there's no perfect formula for anything.
There's
you
no perfect
intuitively draw
formula.
what works for them.
Yes.
That's nice. How do you decode this neuro-linguistic programming?
how do I decode it?
Yeah. How do you decode it with your clients with this special like neuro-linguistic programming? It's a very new term. I haven't even heard about it.
It's languaging, right? So the way in which we either speak or the way in which we speak to our clients has an impact. And the way in which we speak will either break through that subconscious barrier between the two of us in order for us to have great rapport or not so great rapport. So there are so many aspects that I won't get into now, but it's a lot to do with language and body language. So spoken language and body language. So a lot of coaching certifications draw from NLP and they have more sort of basic techniques perhaps. So I guess it's a similar modality, but coaching tends to have simplified some aspects of NLP.
And since you've been coaching your clients for the last 25 years, do you think, because when we hear all the stories from the people, somewhere it gets into our energy as well, right? So you need to release that as well. Either it could be through your Reiki practice or whatsoever practice. So how many times do you need to be mentored, or how do you need to be coached by somebody, some external factors, or the person who you choose to be?
I do a lot of my own individual work because it might be, 10 o'clock at night and I'm feeling a little bit crunchy about something. So I have my own toolbox of what I can use, of which most of it I use with clients as well. But when I know that I'm off track with something, I will determine through my journaling and my own tools whether or not I'm needing someone who needs to shift me emotionally just a little bit more or through my mindset. And so I work with people, separately and have single sessions with people that I know in my toolbox as and when something needs a drastic shift that I can't perhaps work on myself. 'Cause it's easier to have someone else shine the light on you and expose areas that they can see that I can't see, which is what I do with clients.
That's so wonderfully said. Something that I've been practicing in this 2025, which has actually made me a lot more confident throughout this journey, is because now there are two things I've been practicing. First is the gratitude. I show gratitude to everything that I do. No matter good, bad, ugly, or even the worst of all circumstances, I'm really grateful to universe to whatsoever position they have put me in. For example, 2024 has been really challenging for us with my husband's health and with my work as well, because I was a contractor during that time until they made me a permanent, and a lot of things that were going on between. But then I really needed to say something like, what is that thing, the positive thing that I can bring into my life? Now, that's pretty much there, but what do I need to see it at? So having a gratitude sense of a mentality, even before the moment I wake up, even before I step my foot on the earth, I have to say a thank you prayer to the Mother Earth for letting me step on her. So that's where I begin my day with. And showing gratitude to everything that I do. I'm stepping out of my house, I say goodbye to the walls, I'll be back at 3 p.m. Even though it sounds funny, but that's how I talk to them, to the space where I live in. Gratitude to the car that takes me to work every day. Gratitude to the fuel that's there in the car which helps me drive all the way. So showing gratitude to everything has made a lot of difference. The second thing is I've stopped seeking validation. So far, I used to think, if this person can say A thing to me or a B thing to me, my life would be sorted. I would feel better about it. If he has noticed something in me which has changed, that my life would be so good. But no, I've come to a point wherein I praise my own self. I've written some affirmations on the mirror in the bathroom, which I really go and see every day and talk and read those affirmations. No more seeking validation has actually made me realize that I've come to a better place, in a better position now. So gratitude and stop seeking validations is something that worked for me. I'm sure these modalities that you talked about worked for you, but these two things have been really hard-hitting, and it has just made my space so sorted.
That's beautifully said, because both things that you've done, in my mind, I'm going, okay, she had a thought or a belief that if she has gratitude, then good things will come. So your thought and belief around gratitude. So how do you feel? You feel grateful. You feel more alive and loving. And so your behavior is therefore more open and expansive. So, and the second part was you said that you had something on the mirror.
Yes.
Right? So no longer seeking
Affirmations, yeah.
validation.
Yeah.
So that's a thought or a belief. You're like, I'm no longer going to seek validation from someone else
Yes.
or anyone else. So that new thought or belief has you feeling more empowered,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And have more self-respect. And through doing so, your actions and behaviors are no longer seeking comments, likes, and conversations with
Yes.
people
Yeah.
that would tell you that they don't like you.
Yeah.
You're actually taking actions, decisions, and behaviours that are from a place of responsibility
sure.
and self-respect.
Yes. Each day, I've added this ritual. Before I sleep, I do a small prayer, I do journaling, and I pat my own back. For the wonderful day, for the wonderful day, no matter whatsoever God has shown me for that day, no matter whatever has come through, but I have nailed it. Not that I've survived it, but I have taken this day and I've done justice to everything that's around me. So,
Beautiful. Good job.
thank you. You often mention that challenges aren't always about business itself, but about inner blocks. Can you share an example where uncovering that block completely transformed a client's life?
Oh, yes. There are so many. But if I was to choose
Someone
one,
who has really touched your heart.
yeah, I guess one that really touched my heart was just in the last couple of months. And again, at the start of the session, she just looked like she was wanting to give up on things. By the end of the session, she was in tears at the breakthrough that she had, which had her feeling so liberated from these hooks of beliefs that had kept her down. So this woman was in her late 50s, working in a job that she didn't really like, but it paid the bills. And when I shone light on what was going on for her, she didn't need strategy. She didn't need to, do any business strategy or do a plan or apply for a new job.
Yes.
She needed to do the inner work.
Yeah.
And when I shone the light on what those subconscious beliefs were, there were two stories. One was that her elder sister was always better at sports and better at academics. And so for her, because there were only two of them, she always felt less than.
So comparison was the key in that sense.
Comparison, so not feeling good enough. But on top of that, because of that thought and that feeling, that perpetuated into her primary school life where she wasn't that good, at maths or English or whatever it was where she had a test. And after that test and not doing as great as some of, the peers in the class, one day in the playground, she got surrounded by three other girls that just started telling her that she was dumb and she was stupid and, she couldn't do X, Y, Z. And because when you're children, you don't have the capacity to process
Exactly.
those thoughts and
Yeah.
emotions. And if you go and speak to your mum,
Yeah.
she tries to console you, but she's got her own stuff going on, right?
Because it's the childhood trauma that we've been carrying on for so many
Exactly.
ages. And I don't know why, because of this, the peer pressure that you develop in your teens and tweens, you start carrying that for the rest of your life.
Oh, yes. She had it for over 5 decades. So when I helped her process and alchemize through frameworks and tools and strategies, she just took this deep breath. We did a combination of all the modalities,
Yeah.
most of the modalities that I use that are helpful for her particular situation. But it really did show, like Peter Crone, I'm not sure if you've heard of him. He's the mind architect. So I had
I've heard it now.
so I had the privilege of working with him
Wow.
in his masterclass for 3 months. And he says that most people are living the best version of their limited selves.
Yes. It's like unboxing yourself into a narrow version of happiness.
Exactly. So everyone's walking around trying to be
Yeah.
their best selves, but they are in these small prisons of limiting beliefs. And until you can break those limiting beliefs and go, oh, there's actually more to life over here and over here, now that I've released the chains of feeling not good enough.
So basically, breakthroughs are not from any strategies or any formula, but the modalities that you use and releasing your inner block.
Yes, I see a breakthrough as being something whereby, like if you think of a caterpillar
Yeah.
that becomes a chrysalis into a butterfly, once that breakthrough, an actual transformation breakthrough has happened, that butterfly can no longer become a caterpillar.
Yes.
And so for some people, they experience a nice shift and maybe a nice healing session, but they're still the caterpillar.
Yes.
But a breakthrough, a full transformative breakthrough, is where that person has such an aha moment that they cannot go back to how they had been. And so this new version of themselves creates this new self-concept. So part of the 3 pillars that I work on in my business is mindset shifting, emotional freedom, and identity shifting. So that's what I feel people need to have: a transformation, a breakthrough from caterpillar to butterfly, from self-doubt to self-belief.
Well, that's beautifully said. In my scenario, because I have 2 beautiful daughters and I work full time and I'm trying to build my dream life, following a passion as well, there are times I burn out. And there are times when people who live with me, they don't really see that as well. But I know I'm feeling something inside me. And the moment I try to speak about it, they may get to it at a certain point, but they might not even feel it from the way I feel it. So for me, what has worked is, because I'm not sure, I have never done your sort of modalities. So for me, what works is, I'll cry. I'll cry endlessly. I'll shed a lot of tears. I know in the morning when I wake up, my eyes will be swollen. But then when I wake up in the morning with my swollen eyes, I go open the door of the temple, talk to those divinities, talk to the Almighty, shed a few tears there as well, and I know I've got the answers from there. And then I do not need to look back. And that's
Beautiful.
when I know I don't need to seek any validation from anyone. That's when I know I don't need any answers from anyone, whosoever I was trying to connect with. But at that point, I've seen that photo who I've been worshipping and praying all this while. I've got straight answers from them, which has helped me. So this year has all been about gratitude and seeking the answers from the right spot.
Beautiful. Yeah, so what you've done is you've alchemized and processed and felt your emotions.
Yes.
Whereas oftentimes people don't have time.
Yes.
So they stuff it down. They stuff it down with alcohol or sugary foods or, Netflix binging. And they don't want to feel what is actually the stuck emotion. And so emotions can get stuck in the fascia and the organs, which isn't healthy for us, because when you are not at ease for a long period of time, that can create dis-ease. So being able to feel your emotions is beautiful, because then your next step after feeling is then you're turning to what feels right for you, to the temple, right? Whereas some people, they can go into that spiral of tears and they can't come out of that.
For sure. Yeah.
So whether it's one of my modalities or frameworks, or whether it's going to the temple and asking, putting
Seeking
it out.
the answers right
exactly,
there.
passing the problem over and waiting for, the divine to step in and help, whether it's a thought or an interaction.
Yeah, or some sort
That's
of a
beautiful.
sign as well.
Yes.
Yeah. Did I mention chocolates as well?
Chocolate. Well, okay, chocolate, alcohol.
When
sugar.
shedding tears is done, you end up eating lots of chocolates as well, because I've got a sweet tooth and I won't deny.
Yeah, and so that's, we start eating our happy.
Yeah.
And so that sugar is like that nurturing of, that gives us that feel
A
good.
comfort zone.
Yeah, it is.
Making
Mine's,
life easy.
caramel popcorn.
Yeah.
I don't drink, but I can definitely eat a full bag.
I don't drink, but I really, but I drink a lot of caffeine. So I drink a lot of coffee. I'm trying to switch to matcha these days, a little bit healthier version, but I know when at home, I look for tea all the time. For someone feeling stuck, overwhelmed, or lacking confidence, what's the very first step you would recommend to start breaking free?
Good question. There's a classic saying that the first step is awareness.
Yeah.
So if someone knows that they're feeling overwhelmed, they're in a really crunchy position, as opposed to still being in victim and cycling down and down and down,
Yeah.
when you can actually step back and be aware, I'm having a moment, I'm not feeling great right now, The thing that I get clients to do is super simple. Bullet point down, what are you saying to yourself, about the situation that you're in right now? And it might be, oh, this didn't happen and I feel terrible. I tried to do X, Y, Z and I'm not good enough. So giving them the space, even in their own private home, to be seen, held and heard by themselves, by writing down what they're saying to themselves about themselves when they're by themselves, is absolutely vital, because that gets us from being in this convoluted space of so many cycling around, thoughts that cycle around, that it might actually only be 5 things.
And we are wondering if it's 50.
Exactly. So when you go from being in your thoughts to being an observer of your thoughts on paper, they actually call that metacognitive distancing. And metacognitive distancing is the ability to have that separation from being up and in the thoughts to simply observing. By observing your thoughts, studies have been done to show that it lowers your stress cortisol in your body.
Just by observing your thoughts.
Just by getting thoughts onto paper.
It does. It does. There are days when I'm so much overwhelmed. For example, a lot of work, managing kids.
Yes.
And then managing a lot of other things along with the extracurricular activities. There's so much that's going on already with the festive season as well.
Yeah.
That's when I start doing journaling. I start writing my thoughts down and I feel the ease. I feel that I'm getting less stressed and now I can sleep properly.
Yes.
Even though because I co-sleep with the little one, I know I will never be in a position to have that good 8 hours of rest. But even that 5 hours matter because I've wrote everything down and I feel at ease. My mind is at ease. Yeah.
And also the languaging that you use when you're writing. So if you're feeling overwhelmed with motherhood, etc., it's reframing to, I'm actually so grateful that I get to choose to do X, Y, Z with my children.
Yes.
It's not have to, you're choosing to, right? And so one part of getting all these thoughts down is just one aspect. And if you do know anything like emotional freedom technique or tapping, it's a wonderful way to actually bring your stress hormone cortisol down by a dramatic percentage. So there was a study done where replica studies with consistent results each time showed that a group of people that were under stress, they had their saliva tested. And that saliva was tested for the stress hormone cortisol. And with that, they split the group into 3. One group did EFT, one group did talk therapy, and another group read magazines.
Wow.
And then after 1 hour, the results were crazy. The stress hormone in the saliva of the group that were reading magazines went up 2%.
Yes.
The group that had talk therapy, their stress hormone only came down 19%. But the group that did EFT, the emotional freedom tapping, their stress hormone came down 43%.
Goodness.
So what I find with groups is that they might be, groups or individuals, they might be feeling 9 or 10 out of 10 grief or sad or angry or frustrated. So we work on that one emotion. And by the time we've done a couple of rounds of emotional freedom tapping, they've usually dropped more than half. So that really goes to show that those studies, 43% at a minimum, I find. Because if you keep doing it, the results are incredible. People walk away feeling so much more happier and lighter. And they're not dragging around that heaviness of the emotions.
I read this quote somewhere that said, I feel lucky to be tired after a whole day of parenting. I feel lucky to be tired after a whole day of working, which pays all my bills. And I feel lucky to be tired after hitting the gym even for 1 hour or 1.5 hours whatsoever. So because you've been in a position that you can manage all of these things, that you can multitask as well, so you're in a position to cope with all of these things. So that person said, I'm so lucky to be in a position that I can cope, and I'm still counting my blessings, and I will continue to do so. So that's very rightly said by him. Also, one of the podcasts that I did with that lovely lady, Tammy McCann, she talked about all about coming home to yourself. Home, not those 4 walls, but home within you, inside you. So she so much emphasized on the power of seeing you, who you are from inside you, like what the sole purpose is. And her voice was divine. The words that she came up with was so powerful. And I love that part of her. So through this conversation today, I feel that today is the time when we are coming back to home through this conversation, especially with your modalities.
Yes, it's that inner work, that saying, know thyself,
Yeah.
which sounds like it's old, but it actually holds weight because the more we know ourselves, it's like what Carl Jung says,
Yeah.
that until you make the unconscious conscious, it will drive your life and you'll call it fate.
Yes.
So the more that we know, why are we thinking that? Why are we feeling that? Why am I doing that?
Yeah.
The more we can do the inner work, which is what Tammy is saying,
Yes.
to come back home, to search in here, not look out there. That's where the power is, to be able to shift and change our internal
Truly.
world
Yeah.
to make our external world
That's wonderful.
different.
Oh, and we are rocking it. So this is going to be my last question with you. We have a tradition on beautiful chords. It is called the final chord. A space to pause, reflect, and offer a piece of advice for the viewers. What would that be?
My favorite quote is by a Chinese philosopher, Lao Tzu, and he has this quote, which when I first saw it 25 years ago, it struck me so deeply that I still remember. It's probably one of my favorite quotes. And he says, watch your thoughts, for they become words. Watch your words, for they become actions.
Actions.
Watch your actions, for they become habits.
Yes.
And watch your habits, because they will become your character. But then watch your character, because that becomes your destiny.
Wonderfully said. And this quote has been with you for the last 25 years.
Yes, it really is about what are we saying to ourselves about
Yeah,
ourselves.
yes.
that
So
are
it's the
impacting
power
us.
of positive thinking, setting the right beliefs for yourself.
Yes, and it's not even necessarily positive thinking, because I think that can be a myth that people have to think positive. Oftentimes it's not even to think positive,
Yeah.
but it's a simple reframe that shifts the way we feel about ourselves or shifts the way that we think. So when people say positive thinking sometimes, it can be a bit out into the hedges. It can be
For
a bit
sure,
too much,
yeah.
especially if you're feeling down.
Yeah.
It's
Especially
more
when you're
so-
already overwhelmed. What positive will you think? But I think it's about finding something positive in what you are dealing with already in your situation.
Yeah, it could be the gratitude for that situation,
Yes.
but just reframing it in a way that is not going to keep you down,
Yeah.
but help you move forward.
Great. Jen, thank you so much for sharing such honest conversation with us today. I'm sure our listeners will not just walk away with feeling positive, but also with a renewed sense of hope in themselves. You are somebody renowned for your ability to get to the heart of the problem and find answers and insights that are not just profound, but also very practical. So thank you so much for sharing your love, wisdom, and time with us today. I'm sure our viewers, our listeners will not just walk away with the practical guide, but will also walk away with lots of love and hope in their heart. So thank you so much once again for joining us for this special episode.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been wonderful. So you've been wonderful. Thank you so much.
And you've been a wonderful guest, honestly. Thank you, Jen. Thank you for tuning into Beautiful Chords. I hope her story has struck a chord with you the way it did with me. For those who want to connect with Jen, be sure to check out her website Make Shift Happen and reach out to her on breaking through hidden blocks in business. Don't forget to share this episode with a friend who might need to hear it, and keep following Beautiful Chords for more uplifting stories of resilience, reinvention, and the beauty of the human spirit. Until next time, keep listening for the chords that make your life beautiful.